Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. How you doing? It's a beautiful Sunday here from Belfast. Yeah, it's the Meiji Show that care once again, and today we're gonna be treating an interesting topic: adolescence, the critical age. Let me just pin this on my adolescence, the critical age, the critical age. How you doing? How you doing, my people? We're on Street and Cathedral there. As much I would like to react to, oh, Sister Shibon is online. Yeah, God bless you. Quickly, let me just react to some training things before we jump on the topic at hand today. At first, I want to give a big shout out to everybody in Nigeria surviving the economic hardship. I'm talking about the victims of Nigeria itself, those that they found themselves under the grasp and claws of the oppressive system that is obtainable in the country. During the course of the week, I listened to Shinwo Kumbaloye's mic on podcast, and he brought someone on board. His name is Tokbe Faswa. Tokbe Faswa spoke in defense of the current administration. What I'd see that he was trying to do was what is known as damage control. And he made mention of some cogent things, some that didn't sit well with me, some that actually made sense. Before Tokbe Faswa exploding onto the wrong side of my intuition, he made mention of the benchmark of purchasing power. He talked about the need for World Bank to assess the standard of living below poverty line, which leaves me with a question: will World Bank be the one to tell people that are hungry that they are really hungry? Is that how it works? He talked about inflation. He made mention about the recent diverse angles at which youth could explore, trying to make an allusion for Mr. Macaroni's 500 million naira debt. Is trying to make a point that if Mr. Macaroni could actually have access to 500 million naira, then youths are finding ways to prosper in this administration. And I need to let him know about the fact that he didn't hammer on the fact and on what is going on, which is the food inflation itself. He tried as much as possible to be cunning about it, but he was sliming, and that was a slippery slope for him. And this brings me to asking ourselves one question, and that is the fact that have we ever at any point in history believed that the oppressive side will come to a point to subject themselves to some kind of reasoning and say, oh, we've done too much, let us just make these tenable for people, and they just drop their oppressive tendencies and power and relinquish it to the people? Power is not given, power is taken. You should have known that, but now, not in the past, in the history. If you've read the books, the letters of history, you will see that there's no point at where oppression or oppressors have handed powers to the people. The people take the power. But why Nigerians are irrepressible people, I still don't understand why we are not, taking it away from this 30 days run challenge and making it our life, to actually speak to our reality. Speaking to power, these days is tagged gaslighting the government, according to Tokbe Faswa on Shinwo Kimbaloye's podcast. Yeah, we talked about labor reform, advocating for increments of payment for Nigerian professionals, which sits well with me, and I think that's the way forward conversation, the way forward conversation. So we move from that trajectory, then we move to Honest Bunch podcast, where amazing young men come and they were talking about prisoners, a certain prisoner actually, who's the Abia State governor has actually signed and remains Governor Dakpa Abiodun in order to sign and be active on that. I'm also rendering my voice on that, and Governor Dr. Abiodun, we want you also to make an active move on that to censor documents. And also, there was a plight about a woman who talked about a child molestation by a principal, a primary school principal in Ikorodu, and why Lagos state government cannot interfere because Ikorodu access is actually Ogun state government. We want, Governor Dr. Abiodun to look into it. I know they are listening, and sometimes, the life numbers of people who join my life does not do the justice. They're listening because of the kind of person I am. I've actually know everybody working for Governor Dr. Abiodun right now, one way or the other. Even right from Amosun's time, I've been, in the grassroots and all. So yeah, this is just we speaking to humanity and all, and that will be all. Today's topic, as I say, without wasting much of our time, this is where I'm going to accept my guests to come on board. Sister Shibon, I want you to please click on the first icon you see on your phone beneath that looks like a video icon. Try to request to join this video, then I'll accept. Thank you very much. God bless you, Sister Shibon. God bless you. So yeah, today's topic, adolescence and adolescence the critical stage. Hey, my brother.
Yes, what's going on?
My brother.
Hello.
Sister Shibon of
Oh,
Jesus.
sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Hold on. Let me turn my camera. Sorry, sir. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, madam.
How are you?
I call you Sister Shibon of Jesus. And this is one of my best friends in life, His name is Ibukun. He lives in England. We went to varsity together. Very, very amazing guy. Very amazing guy. So today's topic, I would just want to do the introduction before we jump into the topic properly, and you permit me to do the introduction based on punctuality. First of all, people are going to join on the course of our conversation, but what usually happens is that most people prefer, if you look at my YouTube, it's growing. Spotify, enormous views. It's also on Apple Podcast. It's on Prime Music. So I understand because one of the people told me that data is quite expensive in Nigeria. So streaming on Instagram sometimes is quite expensive. Now, as a B, IBK, MTN, we don't do so, but we have to still get the message. That's why I try to split it. So this is actually the main place where we will have the conversation. But afterwards, I'm going to send you the link. During the week, I would have edited it, added some, spice, and that will go, viral and massive. So thank you very much for saying yes and joining me on this conversation.
Yeah,
Sorry, Brother Dimeji, I'm not seeing you on my screen and it's echoing. Shall I come out and come back in?
Yeah, come out and come back in. Sometimes it does like that. Come back in. Okay, let me start the conversation and introduction properly while we wait for Sister Shiva. I'll be done with your comment. Okay, she'll send that immediately. This is Ibukmola Ajimokola.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow. You see, this amazing brother we met in varsity. There's a way you connect with people, and you just know that this is brotherhood for life. And I've told you this. I know you don't like me to give you flowers. You are one of those people who always dodge. You always dodge compliments, but it's the truth because you are one of those fantastic people that I love to listen to. You radicalize my mind in many ways, And I remember when we spoke about Amika Cabra, spoke about amazing people, but not just that. We've been able to delve into, our realities and predicaments together, talked about past, present, and that alone has actually shaped my, my, my judgment about the kind of person you are. And I must say this, that you are one of those people that I've seen that lives consciously.
Wow.
You live consciously, and during those times where youth are very prone to exorbitance. Yeah, we're all prone. Many things we try, but God dodge many things. Can you see me now?
Yes, I can see. No, I can't see you, but I can see the other guests.
Why? I'm not hiding. I'm not hiding. Abike, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you, bro. Yeah.
I
What's
don't know.
going?
I can't see you.
But do you want to go on like this, or you want to go out and come back again?
I don't mind. I can try one more time. If it's the same, then I'll just stay like that.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Hopefully this time it will work. So, to be honest, you're one of the most intelligent people I've met, and
Nah.
I'm being real. That's not me flattering, and it speaks for itself right now. Because I'm proud. I'm proud of what you've turned out to be. Thanks for being a very supportive friend. Thanks
Yeah, thank
for your moral guidance. Thanks for those random calls too when I got here that you put me through. Converse. Those things are very very helpful. Most of the time in this society where it's different from Nigeria. There's no neighbor to go meet. Pay Allah, help me. Nobody want help. They will report you to police and you go meet them. Like say you don't get paper, now ain't a good thing. So, and I really appreciate, your spirit, your tenacity, and the way you even told me your story here made me, know that, you've paid the price.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when people see all the freshness, all the glamour, they don't know what what has
Yeah.
gone behind the curtain. I've been privy to it. I'm not trying to put it out there, but you're a warrior, and thanks for being an amazing friend. You can see me now.
Yes, I can see you now.
Better. So
Hi.
this is my brother from Varsity, amazing guy, intelligent, brilliant. His name is Ibukun. We've been, since we connected from Varsity, it has just been like that. And now we even in the UK,
Yeah.
we've not seen in this UK, but we've talked, like we really really talked. And
Yeah.
trust me, he's someone who is not really far fetched. He's someone I can actually call if I'm at that spot
Mm-hmm.
and I say, oh my, okay, I beg advise me and this and that. He's that kind of friend.
Yeah.
Thank you for jumping on board. Thank you for IBK to say yes, bro. I think it's easier for me to have called whiskey to this place. I'm being serious.
uh,
IBK
uh,
decided to just detach himself from this social,
mm,
social media was too much. So
mm,
I needed to say this. IBK reinstated, or should I use the word reinstated, his Instagram for the purpose of this program. He didn't remember his
yeah.
password. He had to, no, this is someone I had to force, like, Baba, I know we have you are not, have this your brain on my podcast, and thank you, because I really appreciate. I do not take those, the leverage I have with you and the closeness. I do not take it for granted. I appreciate you, and you're officially welcome to Straight and Cathedral, brother.
Thank you. Yeah. Good to see you, bro. Like, yeah, I don't even know which part of me I'm gonna use today. If it's the Nigerian one and the
I don't.
English one. Uh, so, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm being led. I just switched, obviously. Yeah, he's a very good friend of mine, and nice meeting you, Shelburne. Yeah,
Siobhan,
did
yeah.
I get
Siobhan, yeah.
Siobhan? And you're from where? Sorry, Ireland.
I'm originally from London, but I live in
Oh,
Belfast.
oh, that's nice. Wow, that's amazing. Like, I've never been to Ireland. I don't know what's going on that side of the UK, but it's a beautiful city. What I've known about it,
Yeah.
and it's a privilege to be here. My brother, yes, we went to uni together. He's just been an amazing guy. Like one of the few guys I really respect, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean it when I say I respect him. Like I can go at any length to answer to his wishes, really. So I really, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the conversation. Yeah, I hope we're
Yeah.
gonna have a lovely time,
Thank you
really.
very much. So this is Sister Shibon. I call her Sister Shibon of Jesus because she's a very very amazing soul. She's the wife to one of he's already online. She's the children Sunday school children teacher of my church.
Wow, that's good.
And she's got three amazing children. Our first child is 16 years old, and three amazing kids.
Wow,
And beyond that, she's also a teacher. She's a lover of
wow,
kids. I
wow.
might be tempted to say that she's my son's first love. Because once Juba sees her,
Uh,
nobody can him anymore. Even
yeah,
the others, that's her husband commenting we are watching. So yeah, once my son sees her, nobody carries her, not even the mother, not even me, the father. So she's good with kids that way.
wow, that's
But one striking thing that amazes me about her is the way her family, she's been successful raising adolescent kid. Yeah, Juba's godmother. Yeah, she's been able to raise kids to an extent that I've seen those kids. I've conversed with them. Those kids are properly behaved.
Wow.
They're properly behaved. So, and that's one of those things we want to ask how she did it. First-hand experience. She lived in London.
Wow. Yeah.
From her story, I remember she once mentioned Kent, if I'm right, if my memory.
That I was born in Kent, yeah.
Okay, now Kent, London. Now, so you could know that she knows, she has experienced the youthful life. She knows, so that's why she's the proper person as well to be brought. And coupled up with the fact that she's also a teacher. Currently, she teaches in
Like
Belfast.
like a teaching assistant, yeah, special needs, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I want to especially thank you, Sister Shibon, and big shout out to Egbon
Thank you
Yomi.
for having me,
Big
sir.
shout out to you because I know he's really the one that how to support, and I really appreciate. And I do not take all these access I have with people. I do not take it for granted. I don't. I really appreciate it, and it's an honor the fact that we can give ourselves flowers while we're still alive. And you're officially welcome to Street and Cathedral.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Today's topic. I want to start with the fact that I believe that most immigrants here, one of the cultural shock we experienced here is the fact that there are some things that are obtainable in Africa that is not obtainable here. And that gives us some sort of worry. Most of us are really scared, raising kids in this part of this world. Not because the society is not bad. The society is enabling free education access, but like they say, there is no perfect society anyway. So part of this imperfection, we've been seeing it on the news, gang stabbings, and when we look at the age of these people involved, we would have thought, oh, maybe they are in their 20s, maybe they are university students, college. It's worrisome.
Yeah.
Worrisome to find the age 14, 13, 12. I'm like, and it involves murder. These are capital offenses, and we obviously we know that something is actually wrong from that end. So I'm going to ask you a question based on the punctuality. So IBK, you have to go first. Motivations first. IBK, we grew up from the street of Nigeria, who many people believe, oh, it's tough. It's tough in Nigeria to survive. We came here thinking, oh, things are going to be solved. It's going to be happily ever after. And it seems that the struggle continues. Let us understand, what do you believe drives young people towards violent involvement, and how can we, let's pick it from that first part. What do you think actually, drive young people towards the violence in general?
Yeah, as I said, it's a privilege to be here. And violence, what drives young people towards violence, regardless of what country you are? I think I'm going to start my position from, was it Jean John Russell? He said that children are intrinsically pure spirit, damaged only by culture. And people have, so his own assumptions basically is that naturally as human beings we are really pure, and we're pure, we've got no negative in us and all of that. But in my opinion, from a personal point of view and from all the things I've seen around, I think naturally we've got darkness in us, we've got this impurity in us. There can be a religious argument to that, which I solidly believe in. But I think it was Jordan Peterson that said the argument that if naturally human beings are impure, then where does all these negative attributes, where does it emanate from? And how is it spreading? So naturally within us, we've got something that is impure within us. We've got there is this attraction that we have towards negative things. There is this attraction that we will have towards violence. There's this attraction, in my opinion, basically, that we have towards things that are not really, that are more on the negative side.
And picking it from your word, when you say that, it reminds me of tabula rasa. That's Sigmund Freud.
Yeah.
Sigmund Freud said we're born, our mind is empty. So, families start depositing things, society, everything start depositing. But before I move to you, Sister Shibon, I just want to take you on your word. And I agree with what you just said because I read a book, Why University, Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies, a plane crash, kids found themselves on an island. They need to survive. Children. And you would be amazed at the way the children acted on that island, started killing themselves for survival, eating, and they even organized a kind of government. There was even oppression. Children, not. So I agree with what you. But now I want to take you up on that, and how can we effectively address these motivations in our communities? Since we know now that it seems as if there are high tendencies of we tilting towards something negative. How can this also be, mitigated?
Yeah. Thank you. Like, I just think, like, growing up, I was wild, man. I wanted to be wild. Like, listen, I wanted to do what people were doing in the streets, man. Like, I really wanted to do it. Like, it was so attractive to me. And I really wanted to, like, when my friends are starting to buy cars, I'm like, why can't I do this? Do you know what I mean? When it was music that was there, I wanted to do it. But there is one solid thing that really, the foundation I have, which is the family. The family is the strongest point here. If the family, that concrete, that foundation is solid, even if you go wild, you always come back. That's my own opinion, really. So the way I look at it is being a teenager is hard. Do you know what I mean? And life is brutal,
You mean then or now?
Always. It's always been. It's always been. Not in it. Do you know what? All is the same. All that's happened is just a redesigning of the structure. The main thing that drives us, the main thing we strive for are still the same. But it's just been redesigned in a way for this generation, for this society, really. So the way I see it is the most important bit that we really, really need to work on is the family. The attention you need to give to your children, the time you need to spend with them, which I know is very hard. We live in England, like it's very, very hard to get to do these things
Shibon,
together.
I can see you laughing. I thought you're gonna oppose him.
No,
You agree with all his
it's
points.
hard. It's not easy.
No,
Parenting is not
no,
easy.
no, like
I told some people, and that's where I'm gonna, I'll take that as an opening speech.
yes,
I became, and Sister Chibon, I told some people recently that marriage is hard work. Many people think this fairy tale they live happily ever after. It's
No.
it's I said, man, it's hard work.
Ah,
It's hard work. And now let me ask you this question. You could comment on what IBK said. I think that's a very perfect introduction. But let's move forward onto social influence. Sister Shivon, do you really think the socio-economic factors contribute to the rise of violence? The fact that things are expensive, or you know, buying all these luxury things, and do you really think it contributes to this violence, or it's
yeah. So thank you again for having me. Yeah, definitely. I feel like, especially in urban areas where there's more poverty, parents can't afford for their children to go to clubs or on trips or to do certain things. So then those children, they feel a bit isolated from their friends. It's harder for them to, I want to say like, you know,
to,
um,
to associate,
yeah, in the community.
socialize.
Thank you. Yeah, to associate in the community. So they feel like there's nothing else for them to do than to go out, make fast money, commit crime, thefts, drugs, to make money for themselves.
Now, as an educator, now I'm throwing this to both of you, but Sister Shibo, you can comment first before I became react to it. What role do you then think education plays in mitigating these influences? Back then I remember not just family. I became made mention of family, which is valid, but also in school there was I wouldn't speak for everyone, but there was a way in we were schooled back then that some things are not tolerated, and school works hand in glove with the family. More like, oh, if they notice something in Dimeji, they try to tell the parents, and I think Dimeji is wearing some kind of wristwatches and stuff. We want to be sure you're the one doing all these things. We're not saying you can't afford it all, but we just want to be sure it's not. What do you think is happening now in the educational system? Is it like the kids are left alone, or parents and the
I
teachers
think,
are not working hand in glove anymore?
I mean, I think for me, I don't know if, is it Ubukun?
yes,
Sorry. I don't know if Ibukun too agrees. I think now the school system is more lenient. You know, there's only so much that we can do, you know, especially in this country. So I think schools should work hand in hand with parents to try and find solutions, you know, regarding maybe the children's need or any support that they can give to that child.
Yeah.
Ibuku, I want you to react to that too. Do you have cases where you've made efforts in order to interfere into a child who maybe acting defiant, but the parents are not taking it lightly and like, no, leave my kid alone. That's the way it's wired. Or does it seem as if the system itself does not permit educators to intrude into kids that far? It's just it's just within the four walls of the school, and once they're done, that's it. Nobody wants to be, you know what I mean. Nobody wants to go
Yeah, well,
in
I
and just
think
like it was before.
like for me, in certain cases, like in my school, obviously I can't go into it, but you know, you can only once you tell the parent about an issue, if the parent doesn't agree or there's nothing we can do as a school. Once the parent makes that decision, there's nothing, you can't push it really, because it's that parent's choice. It's their child. If they don't want to do anything about it, there's nothing we can do other than just keep reporting it. I suppose if it gets out of hand, then you have to take it further. But I think on on certain circumstances, it's up to the parent at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, Ibu, what do you think about this?
Basically, I think I'm just gonna build on what she said, really. And I work in a school. I'm a school teacher. I'm a class teacher, and my own position in regards to this is, in terms of behavior, there's a decline, but in terms of safeguard the child, I think the school system addressed that in a way that's really good. Like safeguarding the child, there's this approach which is child centered, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes that can also have its negative effect, because if you're too child centered, then there can be entitlement into it. But I feel like in terms of safeguarding the child, which we don't have when I was growing up, do you know what I mean? It was a jungle out there, you know.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have that when I was growing up. In terms of safeguarding the child, I think the school system is doing well. There's different authorities you can report to.
Yeah.
There is how you can trigger what you see. You record every document you see. What you think the behavior is like, and you can share your concerns in regards to the safety of that child. Actually, you're really responsible as a teacher to report. If you don't report any safeguarding concerns, you're going to be in big trouble. So, yeah, you really, in terms of, that's how I say it. But what's the school system? And also, let's say in terms of behavior, I think there are behavioral policies of different schools, which is different.
Okay.
My own school is a positive reinforcement approach, which is we try to encourage the positive,
Like rewarding the good behavior. Yeah.
behavior. That does not mean it's going to be a bed full of roses. No, it's not. There's a lot of shortcomings around it, which, however, also is also determinant on the educator. Like for me, because of the foundation I have, I don't take nonsense because that's just who I am. But for someone else that's experienced life differently, the way they're going to approach it is going to be completely different. So I think there are a lot of things that are really attached to that. They're like,
Yeah. IBK, quickly comment on what Sister Shibon said the other time.
yeah,
When she said, most especially the urban areas.
yeah.
Now, what do you think about that? Do you really think the urban areas have a negative toe effect on these teenagers, on this adolescent? What do you really think?
Like, bro, it's just like everywhere, man. Like, say when we grew up for the Adubo where we grow, you know, like the children that are in the inner city, like they're more prone to crime. They see crime. They've got brethren that do crime. They've got cousins that are involved in it, so they know what it is. And from there, the grooming begins. The mentality is changing, you know, like
Yeah.
the mentality is being driven towards, actually, I think that is the right way to behave. I think that's how to see life. And from that mentality changes, then it comes to the school where they are with their friends and they're like, do you know what? So a man can do that. You know, I can be like,
it's peer pressure, isn't it? Like, especially what they're watching and what, like, the kind of music they're listening to, like rap and R&B and hip hop. They're the kind of things that promote violence and gang activity. And, peer pressure is a big thing in their, in today's society, because they feel more inclined to do these things to fit in.
Yeah.
They have to dress a certain way, or look a certain way, or talk a certain way, or they don't fit in with their friends.
Yeah. Sister Shibon, this is going to be a personal question for you. And I've never asked you this, even off camera. From just your words, you live in London. Is this the reason why you don't want to raise your kids in London? Was it?
Yes. I saw a lot. I just heard a lot, from the news, and you hear a lot of stories. And so I just, when we first came here to Belfast, I said to my husband, look, we have to go there. It's a nicer place. It's a nicer place to bring up your kids.
Yeah.
And so far they're doing well.
So
yeah.
you think it paid off than maybe your son saying man them,
Yes. Yes.
Anyways, that's I needed to I like that, in a subtle manner, because I wanted people to also be aware, because that's where we could go in next, community solutions, to be aware that community affects. I remember IBK, so that I didn't forget things you told me. I remember those talks we had in varsity then. You told me you lived in Festac, you grew up in Festac. In fact, you really told me you were privy to seeing them Two-Face, them Blackface and all. And how you also were influenced one way. I don't know if that was what encouraged the musicality in you. But the fact that you could see, the superstars of the day and come on, they're my hood. That brings me to Sister Shibon saying gang activity, seeing, when kids start seeing things, they start believing, like what you say, also change your mentality that this is the way of life. So now we have to talk about solutions, because
I don't know if
the problem has been
just to add to that what you said, really, just to just put an ice into it, really. Like what you said about that is why you need to be conscious about what area you're going to believe in with your family. You need to actually look at it, not because the house rent is so cheap, or not because the houses you want to buy are so cheap. You need to be consciously aware of what school is there. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, this school. Because at the end of the day, the children in your area, in your catch area, are going to end up in the same school with your child.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that if you can do the homework well at home and train them well. But I'm just saying that you just need to be aware of, okay, where am I going to go? What facilities are there around me? How can I encourage or improve the mentality of my child in the point of view that I can know that in this life I'm coming here to bring a quarter to my own portion, rather than taking away from me now, raining pain on people, really.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, sorry, brother Dimeji.
Keep flogging
that's
it.
true.
That's the reason why we're keep flogging it, please.
Even what Ibukun was just saying about the schools. Even when my children did they call it the AQE over here. So when we pushed them to do the AQE. A lot of my oldest daughter's friends, they didn't even go for it. Their parents didn't even bother with it. So we said, no, all three of my children have done it. And when it came to schools, we didn't want to just put them in any old school. We really selected the best school for them to go to for their education. Because that's our prayer for our kids, that we want them to do their best in life. We want them to do well. And so far, my kids are doing amazing. So they're doing well in their school. And
like what said, listen, I'm so inspired by what you said, really, about you're so conscious, and also, and there are certain things, really, there are also other yardsticks that you might want to think of. There are some people that prioritize the children going to a religious school. Oh, that's what you want, but you need to check off. It's not about the religiosity of the school, but what actually is going to be impacted to these children. Because they're going to spend 9 or 10 years in that primary school, and they're going to spend 6 years in that other school. Their mentality is going to change a lot. They're going to be going through a lot of educators that's going to be attacking their mentality. They're going to be improving their mentality. That's going to be refining their mentality. So we just have to be conscious as parents, as guardian. You need to be conscious of where the school your child is going to, and you need to be really involved in the education of your child.
Yeah,
You know, yeah,
for
like
sure.
I love the way we flog this education. I expected this because I called for the trouble. I called two teachers here, so yeah, put the blame on me. But to be quite honest, I love the way you came in from the educational aspect, because to be honest, the child, if the education is actually working against what you giving them as core values in the family, there's going to be war of ideologies, war of realities, war, and you don't really want that happening. And adolescents, trust me, adolescents, Sister Shibo, you can testify to this. We can testify as living experience. We've not gotten that experience. It's one of the most difficult periods of a child. This is when a child wants to do everything bad, everything that has bad consequences wants to do. Like me
yeah.
personally, I lit my first cigarette, full cigarette in primary 5. And how did I lit it? I caught my elder brother smoking. So rather than he wanting me to go report, he gave me a one stick and I lit up. So we were both in crime together. So you could imagine. And
Naughty, naughty.
so a lot like that. And my mom didn't know this until I saw my first real gun in JS1. My first real gun in just we were in hostel, and there was one senior whose father was a policeman, blah blah. He had to smuggle one of the 9mm to the hostel because in his mind he wanted to use that to be killing all these goats we used to kill for what so. And I was not gone. That's a real gun, bro. I was not supposed to, but I saw my first gun in GS1 in the hostel. My mom didn't know until I was grown, and I told her that even my elder brother and I brought the gun home. But long story short, thank God for the kind of school she took us to.
Yeah.
It was a private school, and more in private school, we moved away from the public school where their mentality is always mostly about fights. I'm talking about Nigerian context now. Mostly about fights, mostly about having this unexplainable hatred to private school students, thinking they're wiser, because we are now getting aware of course class consciousness, and class consciousness in adolescence is brutal, bro. The fact that you could wear better sneakers and I couldn't afford that, I wouldn't take it lightly, like, oh, it's good. I would take it with hatred. I would take it as if I really want to bully you out of you feeling you're better than me. And that's not nice. Kids are really mean. Teenagers are meaner.
Yeah.
So I experienced all these things transcending when I started getting aware of this class consciousness and started accepting that, I think we're in the middle class, or maybe we are struggling middle class. It wasn't nice.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
So I understand everything you're saying is on point. I'm just hammering it. Like, it's really on point. Now imagine that time that I was aware, and I really don't want to feel inferior. I really want to go to the bread dressing street and say, you know what? Let me start eating blocks. And I'll keep skipping classes. And that is it. I've chosen a pathway. So that is really, really valid, and I appreciate it. So let's talk about community solutions. What do you think can actually be deployed at this point in time? Because I really think this is something that, as like the movie Adolescence, is being discussed in the parliament as we speak. So it's a big issue in the UK, big issue. In fact, everybody's scared, not just immigrants. Everybody's really scared.
Scared of what? Sorry.
I said everybody's scared, not just immigrants. Like, everybody's really scared with the way things are right now. From the movie Adolescence, it's been discussed in the UK Parliament. So yeah, it's been discussed. So now, do you really think there are some measures that can be put in place based on community solutions that can actually, make this actually tone down from the way it is right now? And can you share some successful examples of youth outreach programs that have effectively reduced violence among adolescents?
Do you know what? I just think that, like, U Club, like, listen, you cannot sneak something without giving them another option. Yeah. If you don't want the children or the teenagers to do something, like, what provision is there for them? What provision are there for them? Are there like football or basketball clubs they can go every Tuesday? Are there boxing gyms they can go learn discipline from? Are there ways in which heart can be created in a way that they can be enticing to them? And then they discipline, even if it's communication or oratory, they can learn from there. Because are there things that it needs to replace those things that
So
are?
you suggest they must be actively engaged. There's no way you
Oh
can
yeah.
escape engaging
Oh,
adults. You have to engage them.
listen. When I was younger, during what's it called? During when my dad, when he was alive, during summer holidays, I wanted to go to the street and play rubber with the guys. I wanted to go to the street and start running around aimlessly. But during that period, it set something up for me, and it said, "Do you know what? You can go to an holiday club. In that holiday club, you do this, and also you can also play football." And it was interesting to me, and I wondered, I wasn't wasting my time all this period rather than going around. So there should be a provision for them. I know it's hard. I know it's easy. I know it takes a lot from the government, because the government is scrambling for money all the ways. But if we really want to help, we want to look at it from a perspective of, if you want to take this away, what other provisions are there? If you want me to stop doing this, even God, you want, you know, they're good. If it's just one option, no other option, I'm gonna stick to the other one. Do you know what I
Okay,
mean?
Sister Shimon, let me ask you. Thank you for that. You nailed it already. That's why I don't want to repeat the same question for Sister Shimon. Sister Shimon, let's talk about defiance and identity. You are a mother. You're a teacher. As a matter of fact, you are even a Sunday school teacher. So you you are the perfect person to be asked this question. So let us separate defiance from destructive form of rebellion. When do you know that, oh, this is just someone who is defiant trying to act, what is called teenage stupidity, it's teenage era, and when someone is actually on the path of destructive form of rebellion?
I think for nowadays, I think adolescence is a period in itself where our young people, they are trying to find their identity. It's a period where they are finding themselves, finding out who they are, and they're having a desire to be independent. So they start to test their boundaries.
Yeah.
My daughter is 17. She tries to push me. So she's at that age now where she too is trying to find herself. She's trying to find her identity. She's trying to assert her independence. In that.
But you feel they are not actually ready for that independence?
No. She probably is at her age, but I just don't want her to be. She's still she's growing too fast, and I'm just like, slow down.
And now I see where the toes will come in.
Yeah.
Right now, I see where the problem comes. Mom, I'm not a kid. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
You can't do
Yeah.
this. And the funny thing is, I think God bless you parents right now. You parents, because of your your age and your experience, you actually could know the end of something from its beginning.
Yeah.
So we would think you are outdated, whereas your experience is actually protecting us.
Yeah.
From like just for an example, if I was a pretty girl and fool around the corner is just fooling around me, it from the jump that this guy he has no life, he has nothing to offer me.
Yeah.
But because I'm at that stage where I feel like anybody making me feel pretty is actually a good catch for me. You see where the Tozu comes in. Mom, leave me alone. No, I'm not gonna leave you alone.
Yeah.
Because in the very end, it's still gonna fall back to family.
Yeah. And I mean, and like you just said about it's us protecting them as parents, but they don't see it in our eyes. They think we are controlling them, not letting them be free. Oh, my friends are going out here and there, and I want to.
No,
it's like peer pressure. It comes under peer pressure again.
No, I'm sorry. Now, I've just highlighted the girl child. Now, let's talk about the boy child. I really think the boy child, because of our ego, because the way we are wired, it's quite more on a different path of violence. The boy child is on the path of violence more. So how do you actually also, start noticing this separating it from teenage stupidity and being on the path of self-destruction.
Mm. I
For
think
for a boy, for a boy child.
me and my daughter had this discussion the other day actually when she was on her way to school. So I think for a boy, I don't know if I'm going to make sense here, but I think for a boy, you become a bit more lenient with boys, than you do with girls.
Mm.
But, like, I think girls, so much more, can happen with girls. So you're kind of more protective of girls than boys in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, boys are more laid back, boys like doing, like boys like playing on video games and things like that. So,
Okay. IBK, do you have anything to
Jump in.
comment on that?
That's okay. Can I jump in?
Yeah.
yeah,
Jump.
yeah.
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 Do you know, I really, Sister Solban, I really love what you said about like you had a discussion with your daughter. That's
Mm-hmm.
I think that can be the problem sometimes. Most times is the there's this thing they call linear communication when communication is one way. So let's say I've got a teenage daughter, she's saying this one way, and I've got my own perspective and I'm saying mine one way, but we're not listening to each other.
Mm.
And
Mm.
education, they say every behavior is communication. If your child is misbehaving, there is a communication she's trying to say to you, but you're not taking time to sit down, to discuss, to open up, to open those things you don't even want to open up, to express your fear, to express your anxiety. She expresses our fear, she expresses our desire, and you kind of let her know, this is where this is going to go to. This is where I think it might go to, but should we test waters? What do you think? Like, let the child lead, really. I'm going to give you my own as an example. When I was younger, I wanted to go to music. My parents said, no, you can't do that. That is ridiculous. That is unheard of. You need to go uni. And that's what I desired at that point in my life. Now, they declined me from pursuing that dream, but I had to find a way myself to find a way of doing it.
Mm.
And then it led to disasters on both ends.
Mm.
I went to this way, they went to that way. Reflecting on it, on myself, if I've got a child, if that wants to happen, what should I do? I need to sit my child down. Actually, the priority for me is for you to go uni, but you've got a different priority for yourself. Can we come to a conclusion here that I'm gonna really, really help you, push it for you for 2 years. But if this is not working, we need to come back and reflect what we've done and see what we can do. And it's like a negotiation table. That you negotiate with them. But I feel like because there's just a lot on our tables as immigrants, there because there's a lot of money you need to go for and make at work. We don't really have time to spend quality family time.
IBK.
Okay.
I'm sorry to interject. This is where I talk about cultural, differences now. You sound more like, even if it's going to be from our part, you sound more like this is, predominant amidst the upper echelons, class. The average family, even back at home, would not sit you down and say negotiation. This, you know what I mean? And we might agree, or now
Yeah.
we think we know better that, this is not good. But it's still happening. That's the point. It's still happening to now. That this is what I want. Period. I don't want, as a matter of fact, you want to do music, nobody should listen to music in this house again. So just budget, budget.
In that I was reminded by this Asha song that you see the times have changed. I hope you knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes my children will say, "Mom, back in your day," as if
Yeah.
like I'm ancient or something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So there's no way we're gonna flog this topic without going to the big giants in the picture now. The social media. The
mm,
social media has come to stay, whether we like it or not, either positive or negative.
mm,
One of the things I came up with to engage it positively is, this is it.
mm.
I dedicated the fact that let me use Street and Cathedral. Every Sunday we should have an intellectual fellowship. At
Yeah.
least people know that every Sunday this guy is going to drop something. We watch on his platform, YouTube. So, but that's not what is obtainable. People on this side and the people on the twerking side, on the trending side. You know why you left social media now?
Yeah.
IBK. So, Sister Shibon, as a mother, I know this is worrisome for you because you might be really scared at the way your kids are actually watching the phone, dedicating their time to social media, most especially your girl children. You have to, these days where we have pedophilias, we have many, many messed up people in the society, badly behaved people in the society. So I'm going to ask you this question because we have to go there. How can you now, at first, how can you encourage the positive use of social media? Because these kids, I really think they are smarter than us when it comes to this technology.
Definitely.
We can't beat them. We didn't grow up in it. We just, we find a way around it. But my child knows how to turn on the TV and put himself to YouTube.
He's very smart. Yeah,
And
he's very smart.
I'm like, wow, the day his mother was telling me, I'm like, really? So let's talk. How, Sister Shibon, how can we encourage positive use of social media while addressing all these?
Well, for me personally, as you said, as a mother of a teenager, I always I personally look at what she's doing on social media. I do check her messages. Not all parents agree with it, but my job is to keep my children safe. And that's what I always tell her. My job, as long as you're in bed at night and you're safe, I've done my job. So I do check what she's doing on social media. I check who she's talking to. Sometimes I'll say, oh yeah, Tenny, bring your phone. Let me check your message. And she doesn't like it, but my job is to keep her safe. So I do check her. As I say, I do check her messages. I check her phone. I monitor what she's doing. If I always guide her, about the negativity of social media, that don't send pictures of yourself, don't invite strangers onto your platforms or anything like that. If you're, like if she was doing a live, not to invite strangers, not to add people she doesn't know, things like that. Just to be very mindful of what she's doing. Yeah. But I do, as I say, I do check and monitor her phone on a regular basis.
Wow. Would you say, I know you say she doesn't like it. Would you say it has been a smooth sail relationship between both of you whenever you want to do that?
I mean, it can be difficult, yeah, because as I say, she does get a bit annoyed about it. But for me, I'm her mum. Yeah. I'm not her friend. So she'll get over it. But I'm doing my job by checking what she's doing. So whether she likes it or not, either I check or she doesn't have the phone.
I like that statement. I'm a mom. Yeah. She will get over it. That you sound more African now.
Yeah.
That way,
at least she's safe. I'm checking, but she's safe because I'm monitoring what she's doing.
IBK, what do you think? And I want you to also come in this aspect. IBK, dual nature of social media. This thing is in their faces. Yeah. Their friends are raking off likes and whatever, just dancing, twerking and all. And their friends also have got parents, and they feel like, oh, you got a cool mom. They call it cool mom. Oh, you got a cool dad. You got a cool mom. Why can't my mom be cool? And now Sister Shibon is saying, I don't want to be cool. I am your mom.
Yeah.
You get it right. So how do you want to be a cool dad, IBK? And how can you also, manage this?
He's cool already. He's already cool.
I'm cool, Dad. However, my coolness is not in that direction.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah. Actually, in the book, Psychology of Stupidity, the writer, I've forgotten the author now, he says social media has created three things in humans: creation of spectacle, extension of judgment on anything and everything, and the need to be famous. That's what need, the desire to be famous. And another thing it's done is made us gotten into this game of comparison. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous to our health. It's dangerous to our peace. And we need to have a sense of enough. I have enough. Everything I do is enough. Now, I think, how can we tackle the social media palaver? The way I look at it really is, number one, I completely agree with Sister Shelburne. Really, I do. Like, as a parent, you're not. I am not. I am your father. I am not your friend. A boundary, and that's our relationships that we need to really understand. And yeah, we just need to first lay the example. How are you with social media as a father? How are you using social media? The time the child wants to talk to you, are you pressing your phone, or are you watching a video? Are you listening to a movie? Do you drop your phone and pay full attention to them when they want to talk to you? I think it first start from there. I so much believe in examples, setting examples. So if I've set that examples for them, there is a model they're looking up. They've got a role model in our head that firstly that they're looking up to. Then I need to make sure even Google knows what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, data obviously it's encrypted, but I need to make sure that I provide things that is gonna help them and protect them. And I know it's gonna cost a lot. Like I was actually talking to my wife. I'm like, listen, I think we need to do this YouTube ad premium, because it's a slap on on myself as a father that you're giving my child 5 seconds of something that's just gonna my son something that's gonna go wild, you know. So we just need to prepare ourselves, and economically we need to create economic fireworks in the social media you have at home, that anytime it goes like anytime they're like apps that anytime they go there, it just gives you a red alert on your phone. And when you see that, you don't sweat over it. And that's one of the things that we do as parents. We sweat over small things, really. You talk to them. I was talking to one of my mentor, and he's really, really okay. And he's a pastor in a church. And I look up for advice from him because of how financially stable he is. And he said one of the days he saw his daughter, he saw a vape in his daughter's car. And it's like, woof. So when he saw it, he said, "No, he didn't just really he didn't really say anything." Then after a while, they were going for a drive, him and his daughter. So that's what quality times come into play. And he was telling her, like, did you say you wanted to you wanted to go for these dancing thing? Yeah, I really do. And she knows. He knows that he knows that she really, really does a desire. But do you know that if you want to become great at this, smoking vape is gonna affect you from becoming that? And it's like, really? So yeah, that's what it is. You can check it on your phone, check the facts. It's gonna affect you. You can have lung cancer and whatnot, and that's the issue. So sometimes we need to use corrective measures based on what we think they desire to have. Like, oh, do you know what I mean? If you do this, it's gonna stop you from having this. Or you wanna go play football. If
Like consequences, yeah.
like if you do this, really, it's gonna affect you from achieving this. So you then make that decision. I believe in that. And also, I've got a child. He's young. If he's crying, we try, which is very hard. We try not to give him YouTube as a consolation to keep him calm. We use the human measures we know we have to entertain him. I know that when he's awake, I stop all of my work and I focus my full attention on him rather than putting him in front of the telly while I do my work. So it's just setting the priority right. If I've got a daughter, we need to create family time. We need to chat with them. I just somewhat believe in quality time with the children,
Yeah,
man. Like,
because a lot of parents, like what you're saying now, a lot of parents feel, oh, she's crying, I'll just give her the phone, or just put her in front of the TV, or just give her what she wants to stop her from
yeah,
crying, to have an easy
yeah,
life, instead of
it?
really like dealing with the problem.
We have two more questions to go, but I just want to chip this in. Sometimes when we look at it from a different angle, as an immigrant, some have overworked themselves, they've gone to night shift and all, and that's the only way they can survive and keep going. It's really difficult.
It
Yeah,
is.
I'm just putting it out
Yeah,
there, So we don't. It's really difficult. I've
yeah.
seen instances where I've also fallen short. I'm being honest. I've fallen short of the fact that more. I can't keep up. Boy, take this Netflix on my phone. I just go to his own creation, profile there, just watch and just let me sleep. Now so this plays a lot of trick on us. As much as we want to, give them the best, like you said. Also, our best is also altering this best, because it is our best we are giving by working and not, making the family be ashamed. We're trying to pay bills, make sure the families keep going and all. I really think it's difficult, and well, I just say we can do better.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. This is life we're talking about here, because we don't want to lose our kids. So I'm just putting out there, because I know a lot of immigrants are really, really having it hard. It's really tough.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to chip this in,
Sorry.
Sister Shibon, off camera.
We go. I just want to say that it's very difficult. Like it's the struggle.
Very difficult.
It's the struggle, man.
I have to be honest with you. When you told me you were off the social media, I was tempted to follow you.
Yeah, but you're doing it good cause now,
Yeah, I was tempted, but the truth is, there's some things that keep you going. There was the day I sat and I was meditating, and I asked myself, what actually kept Nelson Mandela going in 27 years in prison? That he didn't go insane. And these are the things, your prison could be anything. I'm not saying I'm grateful to God for this kind of life and all, but sometimes what keeps you going might be your passion, might be street and cathedral, might be something you're passionate about. So I understand. When you told me, I understand 100%. I was like, wow. But at the same time, we have to just find our reading. What keeps us going and all.
It's true because it's true. Sorry, sir. It's true because parenting is the most hardest job in the world. It doesn't come with a handbook. So you have to just do your best as you're going along and hope for the best.
Sister Shimo, God bless you. And which makes me want to ask you this question, because you said this off camera with me before. You talked about father figure. And I was surprised when you said that, to be honest, because this generation we have now, people are really, they are even boasting about, I'm a single mother, I raised them single-handedly. And brother, a single mother raised me, a widow raised me. I can tell you that God actually just intervening, we're not going astray. I want you to stress on that, Sister Shibon. What do you mean by a child needs a father figure? To be honest, I really want to stress on that.
Yeah, I mean, like, single mothers are amazing. They do an amazing job with their kids. They are fantastic, and I take my hat off to them. They're awesome. But I think it's more so for it's more for boys. You understand? Like, I think boys need a positive role model in their life. 100%. Because as much as a mother for a boy child, she can only teach him so much, where a father could teach him other things.
Yes.
If I'm making sense.
100%.
So I think sometimes for boy children, it's harder growing up with one parent for boys, especially, as I said earlier, especially in places that are where they have, like less money and things. They feel like crime is the only way to go.
And now, see, oh man, God bless you, Sister Shibo. I don't know if IBK wants to react quickly to this, but I know IBK also at some point in time lost his dad. But I'll just speak from my angle. I remember, oh man, you will be exposed, because your mom, my mom, God bless her. Big shout out to my mom. I didn't come from a dysfunctional family, because my own dad died. Before he died, he was really responsible. They were together, hardworking, working class. We were not struggling working class. I was really born, with a silver spoon and all. But the thing is, that kind of reality changing before a boy that is, I'm an extrovert, that is extrovertious as me, that it takes a toll effect on you when you start realizing that, no, guy, you don't fit into this class anymore. This is where you fit in now. And that can be taken negatively or positively. So I'm not going to judge my life as the green book, like the manual, like, oh, because my life went this way. I know a lot of people. As a matter of fact, there's a chapter in my book, The Son of the Widow. I think chapter 6. I'm just going to call the name of the chapter for you. Chapter 6 says pains, death, failure, betrayals, and determination. Now, I ended it with determination because I started with pains. then I put colon, death, failure, betrayals, and determination, because that was what I was able to make out of all these my pains. When I speak about death, I was exposed to the harsh reality of death at an age where a boy is just getting to know the world. And that's the reason why a lot of my friends that I lost one of my best friends when I was in GS1, died. His name is Evans. People knows that on the street. All these things have told negative. But like I said, God bless my mom. She tried her best. That woman tried her best. Sent 4 kids to private school, and she really tried her best.
Wow.
I have seen people also come out of what I made it out from, and they never made it out. They are dead. They were involved in crime, gang. Some their life is nothing to write home about. Some they're still on the streets, either doing a band stuff. And I will not be Christian like to say, oh, they wasted their life. The way I've been there. I've been there. I saw it, and I know that what I made it out from is God, can just be a divine hand. So now I'm asking you also, IBK, if you want to comment on that father figure, because I see a lot of people doing this. A big shout out to, like I said, our single mother raised me. I don't have anything against, but I'm just saying, please, if you guys are not ready to have kids, I know this generation, we have egos flying up, and please don't bring kids into this mess. I'm speaking from a personal end. Please, I beg you in the name of God who created everyone. Don't bring kids into this mess. Please. It's man. It's and those kids that we have now, most of the kids, 40,000 cases of knife stabbing in London. No, yeah, in England and Wales alone in 2020. More than half come from a dysfunctional family, bro. That's not a coincidence. It can never be. More than half come from a dysfunctional family. When you go to prison and check the statistics, going to crime rates, going to even those people, saying it in the lyrics of their song, you start seeing they are saying they went to the street to take care of their mama, take care of their home. Why? So I agree with you, Sister Shibon. That's why I needed to highlight that. So let's go to two last questions, and I don't know if IBK wants to react to that.
Yeah, I think generally as men, we need to level up, really, like level up on how to even treat women, and women also need to really understand the how a man is structured. And I think that from there, really, like relationships, we need to keep working on how to maintain relationships in terms of family relationships, how to come to a place where everyone can fall in alignment, even not in agreement. So, and father figures are really important. I lost my dad when I was really young. How old was I? I was 11 when I lost my dad. But from my 0 to 11, I learned a lot from him. Like, the 11 years I had with him was enough for my lifetime. That's how, like, the 11 years, like, because I was so close to him. And I think my siblings are going to say the same, obviously, because I know where they are. Like, 11 years was enough for me to know what life is, was enough to structure my identity. And also, it's even worse in England as a black youth. There's a lot of identity that you're gonna face. You even don't know, like, am I from, like, all this, like, if you're born here, like, am I here? Like, why am I here? What am I different? And you've got no one to show you, to give you a template. It's really, really hard. And there is no way about it. Even if there's no dad at home, you need to connect a positive role model that can help. Even me right now, I've got mentors I look up to, mentors that I want my life to be like, mentors I see how they handle their family, mentors how they handle when it comes to business, how they carry themselves. I've got mentors, and it's going to go on forever, because the journey is not a destination, it's a process and it's a progress. So father figures are really, really important. Mother figures are really important. They give us passion and everything we need to have as men. And I just think, even when it comes from the little things, as families, we need to make sure our boys are raised well, that they know how to develop relationships with women. They understand what a woman is, what a girl is, how they can have that, to be able to handle them, really.
So how to treat them and stuff, yeah.
Really, yeah. like just that the lessons we want to pass to them, and the best way we actually can do that really is showing the example.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that, and that does not undermine the
Now,
mothers. Mothers, like I always say, look, this is my autobiography, The Son of a Widow. I wrote it from the contemplations of my mom. I
uh,
value women a lot. I always say, without good women in my life, I am nothing, like nothing.
yes,
But I'm
yes,
just stressing the fact that people now are now feeling like, oh, women are more pronounced, men should be no. Both are very important in building a family. So let's move to, just two more questions. Those ones should be short. And we just want to talk about, um, you before we talk about these long-term solutions. Thank you, you guys have shared your personal experiences. You've talked about collaboration for change, sister Shibon and both of you. Ahmad on it when you talked about parents working on the glove with community, with teachers, and also the community also bringing relevant programs that can engage you. But we have to talk about holistic education right now,
mm,
because now with the advent of development, digital literacy, social media, uh, I still see some ways that what Sister Shibon is trying to tell her daughter about the use of social media, whatnot. Are these also incorporated in school curriculum? And when we say holistic education, what is happening in the society, this gang related, issues. I watched a video at time. I wouldn't know if it was actually a school sponsored thing, but I saw teenagers being taken to prison, and the hardened prisoners telling them there's no life here. Don't listen to those lyrics saying the one way to prison. There's no life here. If I have a second chance, he said he's going to be happy, even if it's going to be a garbage collector or anything. There's no life here. And he said the violence never stops,
mm,
even if you get behind bars, because right there you're now amidst your colleagues, your hardened colleagues, and you might now realize that you're something, you're actually a soft criminal, not hard. So it was funny, and those kids were just there. I could see from the video that this is actually going to have a very positive
mm,
effect on them. I think they are the defiants, those ones acting tough, that they will take into the prison and to have conversation with the hardened criminals and all. I don't think all school could have that, but I'm just highlighting that. I really think that would, go a long way for someone who's, thinking about crime, thinking about all these gang-related things and all. So let's talk about holistic education. How can educational institution better integrate emotional and moral development into their curriculum across adolescence?
Ibukun, do you want to start?
yeah, I'm happy to thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I think maybe even for what do you, even the morality in the society is decaying. So where would the education get the 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 template from? Do you know what I mean? And education is always going to be a reflection. It's go both sides ways. So what can be helped? What can be done? To be honest, I'm just I can't even think of anything really in terms of yeah, I think it's just that from the top as well, like making legislations that's going to help family grow. Um, I like one of the good ones the conservatives have done is like giving 30 hours to from like the trenches that we have for parents, so they can just holistic. Maybe more parents should be given some benefits to just spend some time with the children,
Mhm.
just little things really that can help family, like a family oriented plan. I think that that can help in terms of
Mm.
school. What can the school do? I would say maybe the school should teach children what really the society is about, like financial
Like,
education,
and like values and things, yeah.
discipline. Oh, you want to achieve this, you need that discipline.
Mm.
Everything is not about like, the school. I really love it that it keeps us on track in terms of assessing the children, in terms of making sure that they're on track. But there are other things in life that they need. They need courage. They need discipline. They need to know that I need to set goals and then I need to stand by my
Yeah.
goals. And those things we can just include them into the curriculum in a way that is not like the normal let's go to maths and English or no more chemistry, like things that we just give them free time. Okay, let's just say,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, or they can go together as a group somewhere for, let's say the school can just create like a 2-week plan to go meet people that have done that are actually in life, or people that really are controlling the economy of the country. Let them go to the stock market to see how it's done. You know,
Yeah.
like slow, so they see what life is about, like
Mm-hmm.
money. How do I need to manage money? Oh, I need to save money. What is mortgages? Like, how can I use artificial intelligence to my own advantage? Like, these are things that are really, how can I even build social skills? How to talk to people, how to
Mm-hmm.
listen to people, how to communicate my ideas, how to understand body languages. So I think those are things that really need to be embedded in the curriculum, really.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Why do I feel like after both of you have answered this question, this particular part is the part where I think once I drop this, I have to tag the UK government so they can watch this episode. So you can you can go on Sister Shibon. That was fantastic. So Sister Shibon, what do you think? Holistic education. How
Um.
can we
No, I do. I agree with what Ibukun has been saying. I feel like no offense to Ibukun, him being a teacher, but I think education should be made a bit more interesting, like a bit more interactive, a bit more fun, you know? Just
Mm.
like what Ibukun was saying, more like on nicer days, they should go out and experience, you know, like the outside world. You know, for example, we had someone come in to our school last week. They were teaching our children on how to plant, you know, like plant flowers and look after them and things like that. So I think things like that should be more catered for children, you know, more child-centered approach more.
thank
Mm.
Thank you very much. And I really think you've chipped in because with your analysis, you've chipped in the, long-term solutions already. Because if this could be infused with both of you statements, going to the stock market, sitting down with the doers, having this education, having access to people who actually are running this society, then it makes it a very
Mm-hmm.
good relationship. They're not just a back end or there's not a wall people feel education is scam. I don't think so.
Nah.
Education is not scam. I would never
No.
say that. I would never. Because without education, how could someone like me even make it out from the darkness we made it out
I'm
from?
telling you.
So I will be an hypocrite if I say that. But I really think that it has gotten to a point in time where society might be moving faster than the education
Yeah.
curriculum that we have. So we
Yeah.
need to match it together, like you said. Thank you very much.
Can I
And this is going to be the last.
sorry? Can I just chip in? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Please,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
please.
Um, yeah. Fair play, to be fair. Like the school is trying. Like the school is really
They are
doing a good job.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
the school is doing the school is doing a good job. You like computing. They're trying to tell teaching children how to
Mm-hmm.
code. Like think the school is doing a good job. It's just complementing what's been done, really. So yeah, like just so it's not like the school is not doing anything.
Yeah,
Like this
yeah.
No, no.
job. And yeah, I lost my train of thought, to be fair. I wanted to say something.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. So when you remember, it's okay. And this is the last question for today. I just want to read a comment from Egbon, Mr. Yomi. It said no phones in their school, okay? To avoid daddy issues in the future, of course. Even the girls need a father figure. Yes, the girls need a father figure because I had it from a pastor. Was it TD Jakes? TD Jakes' daughter now preaches, and from the statement TD Jakes' daughter said is like, as a matter of fact, you set the standard of the kind of man the daughter would accept in her life. A daughter who grew up seeing the father love the mother unconditionally. You know, will not settle for someone who is just saying without putting words into action and making effort and not even realistic about their love, just selling dreams. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He said, I am not your friend, but I am friendly. Oh, yeah, that's with your children. Yes, I am not your friend, but I am friendly. Yeah,
Sorry,
I like that.
Brother Dimeji, sorry, I just want to go back to what Mr. Ibukun was saying, that I totally agree with him that schools are doing a marvelous job with our kids.
Yeah.
It's not easy, as I said, as a parent. So we got the talkers of a teacher, you know, and I feel like even though homeschooling, some parents have their own reason for homeschooling. I do feel like going to school is better for children because they're in a safe environment. You know, they're learning a lot, and they're able to mix with their friends. You understand? They're able to make friends, you know, build their confidence and things like that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I totally agree with what you're
Yeah,
saying.
just to chip in it really, like about like homeschooling and whatnot. There is a book called Humans Are Underrated, and it's kind of like telling us that in the nearest future, the skills that are really important is not about what you know,
Mm-hmm.
but what makes you human.
Mm-hmm.
How can you show empathy? How can you work as a team? You know, and there is this research that was saying that when you work together as a team, people align together, the endorphins that your body
Yeah.
generates more than when you work alone. So same example, you've got 8 rowers rowing, the endorphin their body is gonna generate is way bigger, is way much maximized than when they roll alone. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, in this future that we're seeing, where artificial general intelligence and quantum computing is coming, the most important skills, according to that book, and which I believe is things that make us humans, really: empathy, team, storytelling. How you not about you knowing the chemistry. Artificial
Yeah.
intelligence do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So those are the things that a child can miss out from when they're
Mm-hmm.
detached from the
I,
school
I,
system.
I, I think you both of you are 100%, and that reminds me of Will Smith, Will Smith's book as well. And I remember there's 3 aspects of human being that needs to be developed: the spiritual,
Mm,
the vision,
mm,
and the social.
mm,
And most of our parents were scared
Mm-hmm.
of doing that social aspect for reason best known to them.
yeah.
Apparently, it's just their protective mechanism that if
Mm,
Africa is too outgoing,
mm,
or um, apparently a girl child is too outgoing, they might mistake that outgoing for. But now it's serving as an advantage
mm.
because even company hire people who could talk,
Oh yeah,
people who could flow with people easily, people who could go into the party and just, make conversation, make people laugh and all. And Will Smith actually talked about that serving as an edge in his career.
yeah,
Once he steps into a room, he's always the clown, he's always the one who could make people talk and all. And that actually has actually served, as an advantage to boosting.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
just to buttress what you said,
Just to say that, just to add to what you just said, like,
Mm.
listen, at the end of everything, the most important thing when you go into any room is how you can
Yeah.
communicate. Like anywhere, wherever you're gonna go to in this life or in this journey, is how you can articulate what you want to say. It's
Yeah.
not.
Communication is key. Yeah.
It's how you going to communicate what you have got in your head and how people can attach to what you've said and they can run with it. That is it, really.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the big tech companies now, when the offices, the restaurants, they open them so that the workers can communicate. Because they said people, actually, there's a research that said when people work alone, productivity can be okay, but it doesn't promote innovation. So innovation is not going to be promoted if they work in
Alone.
an office, working from like. But if you
Mm-hmm.
want to promote innovation, people need to work together. And why
Definitely.
is when you talk, you learn about how the job is being
Yeah.
done. There are some cues you're going to learn in the cafeteria. Oh, this is how I did this. This is how I did this.
Mm.
Or questions. Even it can be that someone in the cafeteria that's going to tell you need to talk to that person
Yeah.
because that person has got the key to that.
Mm.
That is innovation is being promoted.
Definitely.
I don't know how we got here, to be honest. But
Yeah. No.
Well,
Definitely. No. Definitely. Like what I agree 100%. Like school is a good advocate for
yeah,
teamwork, and they need that. They need to learn teamwork for when they're older and they
yeah,
get a job. To learn how to work
yeah,
within a team,
yeah.
to learn how to take
yeah,
turns, things like that.
yeah,
So communication, as you said, is key in life.
yeah,
So school is amazing, and that's why I really rate schools highly rather than, I'm not saying homeschooling is
yeah,
bad, don't get me wrong, but there's more positives for a child going to
yeah,
school, I'd say, than there is for homeschooling.
yeah.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
why
Uh,
COVID deprived us of a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
really. The
mm.
children of COVID, you can see the
Yeah.
differences. Like,
Yeah.
speaking, like really, they're struggling with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, yeah, they really, it's a huge struggle. And that gap, you think that we should have been able to resolve it? No,
Mm,
it's there.
mm,
And to be there, then how can we help to salvage that situation? We just need to keep the conversation going. You need to create social environment for all
mm.
these ages, all these. Actually, what is social media? By the way, social media is a means of communication. Really, if they're, I know that social media is so compelling and it compels you, and I know the dopamine that it gives in you, but there's also dopamine that can be gotten through other means. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I've actually learned as well. I've learned. I appreciate both of you. Before this last question, I appreciate both of you. If you are just joining, trust me, you need to, once this drop, you need to go back to the very beginning and listen to this. This is a proper lecture. This is not an interview. This is not a session. This is a class, bro.
Mm-hmm.
This is a class. You need to listen, and I appreciate both of you. I appreciate you for taking your time out. Words cannot even quantify how much I appreciate, because I know both of you are busy people. You got family, you got things to attend to, but you're doing this not just for me, for millions of people. This is going to reach out to, and people that are going to tap from this. I want to say thank you and God bless.
Amen.
So
Amen.
this is the final question. I'm always asking, my guests. We have to project into the future, because we've talked about the past, we've talked about the present. We have to we have to view into the future outlook. And so let me ask, what changes do you hope to see in how society addresses issues surrounding adolescence in the next decade?
I'm just gonna say quickly before Iwakun comes in. For the future, I hope to see more for our children to do. Especially free stuff that doesn't cost anything, so that all children are able to access, um, more positive, like,
Like activity.
yeah, in the community,
Mm.
to
Yeah.
be more positive people in the community, to learn things, just things that are more free and fun for them to
Why
do.
do
Like
I feel,
Ibukun said,
I'm sorry
like
for
Mr.
I'm sorry for
Sorry, sir.
interjecting. Why do I feel like you don't really like this isolation in this? Why do I feel you are really talking to the isolation? You really love the communal. You are talking more about. I stand to be corrected. I feel like you are really promoting this communal lifestyle against this isolation kind of life living.
Because I just feel like, if children are isolated, they're more to turn to negative behavior. You understand? Because they get bored. Children that are more out with their friends, making friends with people, doing positive things in the community. I feel like they'll have more opportunities. Children that are isolated, they can become kind of, they can have more of a
Yeah,
negative, I don't know, a more negative kind of
yeah,
mindset kind of thing.
yeah.
And
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We've seen that in movies. We've seen that a lot in
and
movies.
I feel like it affects their self-esteem a little bit as
And
well.
if that movie, Adolescence, one of the statements of the father made was that I shouldn't have left this boy alone whenever he's in his room playing game. I just felt like
Mm-hmm.
he should have just gone into the room, talk to him, have a wee chat. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we want the easy part. Just like, well, it's not a problem. It's okay. He didn't know what was going on in the boy's life until
Mm-hmm.
he saw the video that it was actually his son that
Mm-hmm.
cried. So IBK, I thank you very much, Mr. Shimon. Do you still have something to say before I?
No, just quickly, I just wanted to
Okay.
repeat kind of what Ibuku said earlier, that, things like football camps and boxing and things like that, fun things for kids to do. They're less likely to go out there committing crimes or, you know, getting into trouble,
In replacement,
basically. Yeah,
that's what IBK meant.
yeah,
That we can't leave them in
yeah.
vacuum. There must be a
Yeah,
proper
I just feel like
replacement.
there's not enough. I just feel like there's not enough for our teenagers to do where everyone's able to access it. I feel like it's more centered towards parents that can pay for things, whereas parents that can't afford it, their children are kind of left to fend for themselves.
Mm, mm. Okay, that's a very, very brilliant submission. Thank you, Sister Shibon. IBK.
Yeah, I
approach.
totally agree. I totally agree with Shelburne. And I've forgotten where I heard it. They said it takes a village to organize the human mind.
Yeah.
That the human mind is so chaotic that it takes a village to organize it. And don't forget, it's a treacherous world we're living in, and it takes a whole lot of things. Like I've forgotten where I was saying. They said, you see the zebras, yeah, they walk in their herds and in their parks,
Yeah.
right? So a lion, the way they hunt, the pride of lion, the way they hunt is when they go around, they look for the weakest.
The weakling.
So that when they get the weakest and like, oh, that's the one, we're gonna spot him, then that's gonna be our food. That's gonna be the prey. But what the zebra does is, even though their patterns are different, the smart one is gonna find a way that even though I'm weak, I can blend in into others so that I'm not going to be spotted by the predators. So he then goes around and the lion was like, oh my God, he's gone again. Do you know what I mean? So we need to help children to create a park where they can
Mm.
learn to manipulate the predators of the world.
Mm.
It's that you cannot render the human beings, you cannot protect the human beings in your reach. You need to make sure they are competent. You make sure that they're competent to be able to organize themselves in the treacherous, the ruthlessness that is in the world, and you can't protect them forever. And so, I completely agree. There should be other mediums like sport is one of the good things for boys, for boys and girls basically, and also other things is the arts and creativity, things that they can even use and be promoted on social media.
Mm.
You see, like,
Mm.
you know what I mean?
Which will have a ripple effect on the social media already. So
Yeah,
you taking the solution from the top, and you know what, you just know it's going to have a ripple effect on every other
do you know
thing.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they do something which is really good. Maybe they did a little play in the little group. They can put on social media,
Mm.
and even that also they need to then teach them how to manage that because there is always someone that's going to make you feel competent, no matter how good you are. So
Yeah.
Mm.
they need to know that all of these it's just
Mm-hmm.
preparing them really, like creating opportunities, like not for only those that can afford it. And if there are, they should be more pronounced for everyone to know how to access them. I would assume there are some, but most people do not know. Is it for some?
Mm-hmm.
Like let it be aware for more people. And yeah, actually, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm more excited about the future. I'm not even
No.
gonna lie.
No.
I
I was expecting some. I was expecting something like that from you.
Yeah.
like, but you know what? Before I used to be very terrified of it. Like,
Mm.
but with things, I just don't. I feel like even though there's a lot of things going on, there's a lot of chaos going on in the world.
Mm.
We don't know what's going on with the stock market. We don't know what's going on in the US. We don't know what's going on in England. All of it is going chaotic. But when you look at the possibilities that there are, that can even give you, because we can approach this world with that negative view. If we do that, it's going to contaminate us, and we're not going to. The result we're going to be producing is going to be fear oriented, and no one is going to achieve a lot of things from fear or from anxiety. We need to try to be optimist. We need to get ourselves together and say, actually, it's a bright future. It's going to be a hard one. We know that there's going to be delayed gratification for a greater good, but right now we just going to face it head on. We're not going to take the easy route because the easy
Mm-hmm.
it's just for now, basically. The
Mm-hmm.
end goal is not gonna be long term. So I'm not even gonna lie, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the prospects of the internet.
Yeah.
I know, I'm aware though that it's it's gonna be hard.
It's
It's gonna be tough,
gonna be difficult.
difficult. There's gonna be sweat, blood, and tears.
Mm.
When you look at it at the end, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
That's it. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've flogged this enough. We cannot keep flogging it. We have to leave it for others to flog. And if you're just joining, I encourage you to go listen from the beginning. This is a class session, and the fact that my speakers are so brilliant. Yeah, they're speaking from the context of the UK, but trust me, if you have an open mind, this is a global conversation because it is relative to every society right now. education mess, government, not mess in the sense that we are not saying there's no much effort, but we can see what is the results, what is obtainable in the society. These are not things that we are happy about, and there's a yawning gap between, that there's a class struggle going on right now, class awareness, and it's a yawning gap, and it's becoming, wider and wider day by day. And I love the fact that these people are really passionate about their job, their profession, in as much as, yeah, they spoke in favor of education, which is true. I subscribe to that. They didn't also fail not to tell us, the hiccups that, are obtainable in that education itself. And I also encourage you parents who think everything, like the teachers are, what will I call them? The abracadabra. Those ones who have wand in their hands that will just make your children, they'll just do like this and your children will just be
Magic wand.
Barack Obama.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you, Brother Dimeji. I'm sure Mr. Ibukun will agree with me that our job is very
Yeah.
rewarding.
Yeah.
Like, because at the end of the day, you get the satisfaction that, yes, I taught them that, I did that,
Yeah.
and, they learned that, and they're
Yeah.
amazing from it. So
Yeah,
our
yeah.
job is very rewarding.
I was having the goosebumps when I saw Bukayo Saka having a good conversation with his class teacher, English teacher, and I laughed when the English teacher even told Bukayo Saka that, "Oh, you still hold me an English assignment," and Saka laughed. He was like, "Oh, Mrs. I forget. You didn't forget. Yeah, you still hold me that assignment." I love that, teacher student relationship. You could see that teachers are putting in the effort in England, in Belfast, and everywhere. They are lovely people. They're passionate about their job, and I'm very sure they are also heartbroken when they read the news about all these teenagers being involved in capital offenses. We can only hope for a better system, a better society. We have a lot at stake here because we are raising our kids also in the system, so we are also putting our voice in it, trying also to make sure that the right portals listen to this. I'm going to tag the necessary Andrew. This will be the first time I'm going to tag a lot of people on these posts because this is actually a very, very brilliant session. And I want to say thank you to both of you. You guys are amazing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for doing justice to this topic. You've gone way beyond my expectation, and this is me saying the truth. You went way and you did justice. I learned, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna be jotting some things down. Both of you said, and I just want to say thank you and well done, well done. I'm gonna give you flowers. You guys are amazing teachers. You guys are beautiful. You guys are the one who made us. Some teachers are right now in my head that I can never forget. Their words to me, why some they are not supposed to be near classrooms. They are, I'm sorry to say, they are, don't let me use the swear words, but most of the teachers I've come across, amazing people, passionate, and they are the ones who've made us and who made us to also believe in
Yeah,
finding
who
our own.
molded us,
Yeah,
and
in finding out that personality you talked about, some really helped us because they've studied us and they say, "Oh, come, you have this. You have this." I remember a teacher forced me to start doing literary and debate from GSS 3. Debate, and this is now you have to try to win an argument against me now. But going back to the Genesis, but the teacher would say, you have a big mouth. Come here, you can, and that's it. We appreciate you, and to you, I'm using this also to say a big shout out to all the teachers in England, in Wales, in Scotland, in Belfast. You guys are amazing. You are much, much appreciated, and we love you. And thank you so much. And this brings us to the end of
Can I
this.
say something before we go? Actually, just some banter, really, to round it up, really, and some little. So when I was growing up in Nigeria, when I was in secondary school, so there was this day they were doing assembly, and normally every week, I think on a Monday, there is always the saying that we're going to learn for the week. So the week for that day, I wasn't listening at all, and I was just in my row. So the teacher spotted me, and he was like, "Come here. What was said upstairs there?" I said, "I didn't know." It was like, "Whoa, how would you not know?" And obviously, don't forget, this is Nigeria. I was dealt with in a way, like
Yeah.
I was given the nice African, which is outdated. Then it asked me to do something. What they taught us that there was an idle mind is a devil's workshop. They asked me to stop everything I'm doing, so go write it down, and I wrote it down for I wrote it down for a idle mind is Devil's Workshop, and I do mine is a Devil's Workshop. That was what I did that day, and that stuck with me in my head. So, and yeah, as a parent, what you need to do, make sure you read with your child every day, every night. It's hard. It's not the easiest, but yeah, we're gonna get there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alan. Guys, you have to join me next week for another session. Like I said, I'm gonna edit this and I'll send you the links. You can also share with your network. You know, it's gonna be dropping on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Prime Music, and no other platforms, podcast platforms as well. Thank you so much, and thank you to all my friends that have been saying yes to join me. Next week, we're going to be treating another deep topic as usual. It's Street and Cathedral. My name is Timothy Shodeke. Bye for now.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.